What's up, MTG Burgeoning community and YouTube viewing audience? If you are part of the latter and wish to join the former, click that subscribe button now, and in so doing, you will become eligible for a bevy of sweet, sweet rewards, all of which you can peruse in the description below. It's Friday, so we're back to our kitchen table series, and in today's video, we are doing deck tech number 20, Bant Walls. Burgeoning fans, what is up? Can you believe we are on deck tech number 20 of our kitchen table series? We have lapped it all the way around and we almost completed the full cycle. Deck tech number 20. And in today's video, we are going to examine and we are going to put out there a Bant wall deck. That's right, folks. We're going to play with a nice, fun wall deck. So, as customary on these Friday kitchen table videos, we're going to start with our land base. And we've got 8 basic forests. That's going to start off our lands. 8 forests to begin with. Now, we said Bant, so we got to make sure we splash some white and some blue in there. So we got a play set of our Allegiance Shock Land, the Hallowed Fountain, 4 Shock Lands, 4 Allegiance Fountains, 4 check lands, our Selesnya check lands, which are our Sun Petal Groves. We got a play set of Groves. And we have a play set of our Simic check land, the Hinterland Harbor. 4 copies of Hinterland Harbor. Now, if we pay attention closely here, to give us the full potential of our Bant colors, we have selected the Sun Petal Grove and the Hinterland Harbor to go right up against 8 basic forests, because if we have a forest in play, then the Sun Petal Grove and the Hinterland Harbor each come into play untapped because we would have a forest in play. And that is also why we have 1 play set of the Hallowed Fountain, which is a Plains Island, which for Sun Petal Grove, it will come into play untapped because of the Plains clause, and for Hinterland Harbor, it will come into play untapped because of the Island clause. So the 8 forests and the 4 Allegiance Shocklands, the 4 Hallowed Fountains, will allow each of these 8 checklands to come into play untapped. All right. So that's 4, 8, that's 20 that's 20 lands total. That's 8 forests, 8 checklands, 4 shock lands, and of course with it being a kitchen table, 1 soul ring. So we've got 20 lands, and we have 1 soul ring. All right, now we don't have a ton of mana in this deck because we're running walls. And I'm going to tell you, folks, walls be cheap. They sure are cheap to cast. So let's start talking about the walls that are going to be in this deck. Our first playset of walls is the Steel Wall. It's 0/4. It's an artifact wall. It costs 1 generic or colorless mana. And there's 4 of them in the deck. Next up, we go to the green side of things, and we look at a Wall of Blossoms. 1 in a green, and of course it has Defender. Just for the purposes of clarity, if we look back at our Mirrodin wall here of Steel Wall, it says walls can't attack in parentheses because this creature predates the creation of the keyword Defender. So we have to remember, Steel Wall can attack. Wall of Blossoms has Defender, which means it can't attack. And when Wall of Blossoms enters the battlefield, we draw a card. Another 0/4 body, very similar to what Steel Wall is. All right, next we shift from green and we go to white. And if we liked Wall of Blossoms that much, well, then we're going to love Wall of Omens. 1 in a white, 0/4 wall with Defender, and when it ETBs, we draw a card. We love us our card draw in this deck. So we have 8 copies of Wall of Blossoms, or 8 copies of Wall of Omens, however you want to look at it, folks. All right, shifting our way back to the green piece of color pie, we're going to look at our Wall of Mulch. 1 and a green, and again, notice, walls can't attack. That means defender, folks. It's an 0/4 body. We can tap a green, sack a wall, and draw a card. 4 copies, 1 playset, Wall of Mulch. And now we're going to break the bank, both CMC and value-wise, with this last playset of walls. It's an Azorius wall. It's 1 white and a blue, and it's the Wall of Denial. 0/8, Defender, Flying, Shroud. So in the early games, not much is going to make it through the Wall of Denial. 0/8 wall with Defender, Flying, and Shroud, and that is 4 copies, 1 playset of the Wall of Denial. And those are the 20 walls in our deck. All right, so let's shift our attention away from our quote-unquote offense, because they're all walls. Get it? There's 20 of them. And let's take a look at some of our removal spells that we have in this deck to try to keep those pesky creatures from trying to penetrate our fortress of walls. And the first is going to be tried and true. If we're in white, it's Swords to Plowshares. 1 white, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. 3 copies of Swords to Plowshares. And some spot removal for those pesky artifacts or enchantments. We have a Disenchant, and we have a Naturalize. Both do the same thing. Both have different names. Both have different colors in their casting cost. 1 Disenchant, 1 Naturalize. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. All right, let's talk about some board wipes. How about this interesting card? Fell the Mighty. 4 and a white. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. So if we shift our focus down to our 20 walls, and if we remember that every single one of these walls had a power of 0, then that would indicate that by selecting any one of our walls while we cast Fell the Mighty, that will destroy every other creature on the battlefield that has power greater than 0. So this is the perfect board wipe for a wall deck. Fell the Mighty, 4 and a white, destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. 2 copies of Fell the Mighty. It is the ultimate perfect board wipe for a wall deck. Rounding out our board wipes, we go to our Amonkhet, and we look at our Aftermath cards, and we have Dusk to Dawn. Dusk reads 2 and 2 white, destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. Again, that targets none of our walls. All of our walls are 0 power. So that will clear out, hopefully, most of the battlefield. Now, I get the fact that if we're running up against tokens or tribes, it may be difficult to clear them out. So Dusk is a little more selective, but its inclusion is warranted based upon its Dawn Aftermath card. And that is, Aftermath, of course, means you can only cast this from our graveyard, and then we exile the spell. For 3 and 2 white, we return all creature cards with power 2 or less from our graveyard to our hand. So we can get any of our walls that are in the graveyard, bring them back to our hand, cast them all over again, draw some cards, reestablish our board. That is what Dusk to Dawn will do, and we're including 2 copies of it in our deck. All right, we are almost done with this deck tech before we take it on a test run. Excuse me. All right, next up we have Tower Defense. For 1 and a green, creatures we control get +0/+5 and gain reach until end of turn. So the majority of our walls are 0/4 with the exclusion of the Wall of Denial, which is 0/8. So casting a Tower Defense and giving them all reach pretty much means that we can keep nearly all creatures from affecting our life total, at least for 1 turn, particularly if they're getting reach as well. 3 copies of Tower Defense, the 0/0/5. But you know that can't be the only reason a card like that is included in a wall deck. Besides, how are we going to deal damage? None of them can attack. All of their power is 0. Well, our opponents will be on, pun intended, high alert when we cast this enchantment from Ravnica Allegiance. For 1, a white and a blue, Each creature we control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures we control can attack as though they did not have Defender. We can tap 2 white and a blue and untap target creature. This is perfect for what we're doing. An 0/4 wall. So we have a creature that will cost CMC generally of 2 with the Wall of Mulch, Wall of Omens, and Wall of Blossoms. The Steel Wall is just 1, and then the Wall of Denial is 3. However, we're attacking as though they didn't have Defender, and the damage is being dealt from their toughness and not their power. Amazing. High Alert, 3 copies. Very strong. This is a fun wall deck, I'm telling you, folks. It is a fun Bant deck. We have 4 cards left, 1 play set to go, and this is the one. This is our leader. This is the creature that will take us to the promised land and make sure that we can do whatever we need to do to close out the game. From Core Set 2019, we have Arcades, the Strategist. 1 green, white, and a blue, so 1 generic colorless mana and a Bant. We have a 3/5 legendary Elder Dragon with flying and vigilance. Whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield under our control, we draw a card. We have 20 of those. 20 walls, they all have Defender. So with Arcades in play, we cast one of these walls, Arcades triggers, we draw a card. Oh, but it gets even better. Each creature we control with a Defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and can attack as though it didn't have Defender. So the redundancy of High Alert is also on Arcades the Strategist, with the added bonus of drawing a card whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield. Enters the battlefield under our control. 4 copies, Arcades the Strategist. And ladies and gentlemen, that is MTG Burgeoning's Bant Wall deck. Let's shuffle this baby up and take it for a test run. All right, so let's give this Bant Wall deck a test run. And folks, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot of fun. By no means is this deck meant to be an uber competitive kitchen table deck. We've done some of those in the past. It's nice to mix it up, and it's nice to have a fun wall deck. How would you like to be your opponent? Sit down and get trounced by a bunch of walls. It feels good. It feels good. Not so much if you're on the other end of it. So let's do this thing. Here we go. MTG Burgeoning Kitchen Table Series Deck Tech number 20. 5, 6, 7. And as is customary, our turn counter. Here we go. Wall of Blossoms, great. High Alert, loving it. Forest, perfect. Swords to Plowshares, loving that too. Wall of Mulch. Stick that right there. Give us another land. Oh no, Tower Defense. Come on, don't do this to us. Give us that shock land. There it is. All right, Force. That's not bad at all. All right, not terrible. We're going to keep. We're going to play. All right, let's do it, folks. Here we go. Turn 1. Bant Walls, baby. Bant Walls. Come on, with the glare is ridiculous. There we go. Draw a card. Fell the Mighty. Turn 1, Forest, pass. Turn 2, draw. Hinterland Harbor. Put that into play. Tap 2. Wall of Blossoms. We are protected. ETB triggers. We draw a Naturalize. Score. We untap. Turn 3. Draw another Swords. Play our Forest. Let's see what we're going to do here. Let's go. We'll tap 2. We'll cast our Wall of Mulch. We'll hold out hope here, looking like we can get some white mana. And we'll let our opponents take a round of turns, and then end step, we're going to tap a green. I'm sorry, not going to sacrifice the green. We're going to tap the Forest to sacrifice the Wall of Blossoms to draw a card, drawing Arcades. All right, now's the time to get us that Plains. We need some white mana. Untap. We draw a Forest. Not what we want right now. All right, we're going to assume that some way, somehow, we're going to have to cast a Naturalize to destroy an artifact or enchantment. and we pass the turn around, and we really could use white mana, because if we get the white mana, we're going to be casting Fell the Mighty, assuming that on turn 5 our opponents are going to be probably swarming the battlefield with creatures. So let's really hope that we get that white mana, and we did not. Rats. Alright, so, desperate times, folks. Tap 1, we sacrifice our Wall of Mulch. We draw, Wall of Denial. Not what we were looking for. Tap 2, Wall of Mulch in play. Pass the turn. We're under a fire. We block, we tap, we sack. We draw. Oh, another Fell the Mighty. If we don't draw a white mana source here, the game is lost, and the Bant Walls will fall in their first performance. There it is. Sun Petal Grove. We tap. Oh, we have to pick a target creature. We don't have a wall. Oh, no. So we could probably get rid of a bunch of creatures by casting this, but most likely not all of them. So we will cast Fell the Mighty. And that will be that. We will pass the turn. It's not looking favorable. Turn 7, there's Wall of Omens, but I fear that we have missed out our opportunity. We will call play test 1 a failure. So let's shuffle it up and do it again. Alright, so our opponents most likely got the best of our Bant Wall deck in that first play test. But try again, folks. If we would have hit that white mana, that's alright. Not every game is going to be a great game, because then no game is a great game. We shuffle. We cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We turn 0. Turn 0. Forest. Wall of Mulch. Wall of Blossoms. I'm starting to go through some deja vu here. Wall of Omens, you will give us the white source. Forest. Wall of Denial. And, Wall of Omens, no white source. We keep. We're strong. First draw, Hallowed Fountain. Second draw, Hallowed Fountain. Oh no, it's going to happen all over again. Tap 2, turn 2, Wall of Blossoms. Draw a card. Oh, Dusk to Dawn. Great, double white, and we don't have any. Turn 3, we draw. Swords to Plowshares. Let's tap 2. We'll put out a Wall of Mulch. Turns go all the way around. We'll tap green. We'll sacrifice the Wall of Blossoms. We will draw a Steel Wall. All right, that's a sack bait. Turn 4. We draw. Oh, what the heck? A forest. Tap it. Cast it. Tap it again, sack it, draw. There's our Hallowed Fountain. At least we got it for next turn. Alright, we untap. Under heavy fire here. It's already turn 5. You only have 1 wall in play. There's our High Alert. We pay 2 life for the Hallowed Fountain to come into play untapped. Every single card in our hand has white mana. What to do? Seeing how we don't have a wall, you know what we have to do? We got to get some protection out there. Wall of Omens. We draw a card. Grabbing another Wall of Denial, which we can't even play yet because we don't have any blue mana. We'll let the turns pass around. We tap. We sacrifice. We draw a card. Another white card. Oh my goodness. I do not remember there ever being such trouble with the mana. Seriously. We draw Steel Wall, which will cast. Tap, we sacrifice it, we draw a card. Oh, Wall of Omens again. This is not working out great. Cast, draw a card, Steel Wall. Oh, now we're just running in circles. We just can't keep up. Oh my goodness, seriously? Third time will be the charm. Well, honestly, I suppose if we wanted to make the mana base gel a little bit more, it's not something I would want to do because this is just supposed to be a fun little kitchen table wall deck, not supposed to be something to invest such a great amount of mana resources into. However, I suppose if needed, I would swap out 8 of the basic forests for what, 4 temple gardens and 4 breeding pools. At least that way it would give us the option of having 2 colors on a land as opposed to only dropping down basic forests. I do not remember ever having such trouble in pulling the necessary mana colors for casting spells in this deck. And this is not a newer deck. I've had this deck for some moons now. It exists since 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right after Arcades came out, so it's been more than 2 years, so I don't remember. Come on, let's do it here. Forest, come on now. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. Oh, all right. Ever the optimist, we keep and we hope. Oh, no. Turn 2, we draw. There we go. Now we're cooking with fish oil. We throw down a Wall of Blossoms. We draw a steel wall. That'll work too. There we go. Now we're showing it. Give us that Hinterland Harbor. We'll throw our Arcades in the back. We'll play our forest. We'll play a steel wall. We'll tap 2. We'll play a Wall of Mulch. All right, we're well protected. Now if we can get that other white mana source, Fel the Mighty. All right, so we know that that's coming. So we can't cast our walls. We can't cast much of anything, so I guess we just pass. We move to turn 5. We draw our Hinterland Harbor, and now we're set. We'll take our 5 lands. We'll tap. We'll cast Fel the Mighty. We'll target one of our walls. We'll wipe out the board, leaving nothing but creatures with power 0. We untap with all the colors of the rainbow, at least for the purposes of this deck, right? We draw a Wall of Omens, which is just perfect. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to put our Arcades out in play. We'll tap our 4. We'll cast our Arcades, knowing now that we can send 3 walls into combat, each dealing 4 points of damage. Also knowing that if we had to, we can tap a green and sacrifice one of those walls to draw us a card. And that is how it's supposed to be, folks. Usually a little sooner than turn 6 and 7. So we'll move to turn 7. We'll draw Swords to Plowshares. That looks pretty darn good. I think we're going to then we'll get a Wall of Denial in play, just because we haven't yet. Cast Wall of Denial, draw a card from Arcades, drawing a Wall of Blossoms. This is beautiful. Tap 2. Cast Wall of Blossoms, draw a card from its trigger, and from Arcades, we draw 2 cards, another Arcades, and another Wall of Blossoms. And now you're starting to see exactly what this deck is supposed to do. We get some walls in play, we draw some cards, we cast some more walls, we draw even more cards. That's how the play test should be. So like I said, third time or last time is the charm, folks, and that is it. This is MTG Burgeoning. This is the Kitchen Table Series deck tech number 20, Bant Walls. Go forth and enjoy your day.